This is Justin Scoop for SPX on Monday, September 22nd, 2025. We had another bullish all-time high, another bullish day, all-time high again. And this was one of those just grind up all day sort of intraday moves. We really had very little selling all day. So any bears that are still in this are trapped. We had this opening hammer here, only two bear candles to start the day, and then look at this wave of bullish candles. I mean, there aren't two or even I guess three bear candles in a row way up here. So pretty much consistent buying for the first hour and a half of the day. Um, each red candle is just individual until you get to these three over in here. It's just crazy. And then there's some more that come in a little bit later. You know what? Let's just zoom in on the three. On the 3 minute. You got, what is that? Six bear candles there. And then five here. And that was, I mean, it didn't even move down that much, especially here. Hardly moved down. I actually zoomed way out just moments ago before I hit the record button on this, looking for, okay, where else have we had any recent just grind higher buying all day? We sort of did it back on September 11th. We actually only went up for maybe half the day and then it was just sideways. Probably only like an hour and a half we went up and then just sideways. And like I just said, today we pretty much just kept going up. Um, so then I was scrolling back a little bit more, trying to see, okay, where did we just kind of grind up all day? I saw this day, this is going back to September 4th, but there's a bigger pullback. Like there was some selling in here, a retest, whatever, and then a bunch of buying the rest of the day. So maybe like 5 hours of buying, five and a half, maybe even almost 6 hours of buying that day, but strong enough of a bear move that it's like, okay, that's definitely an S curve. That's kind of an opportunity to get in. And come back to today, it's like, okay, yeah, I see the S curve. It's just, excuse me, it's just really, really, really shallow. So I couldn't find another day in recent 3 minute history, which isn't that long. You know, it goes back maybe a month or so. It depends. Actually, what is the setting I have here? Uh, Goes back 30 days. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I can add more to that. I've got some different length of days available to look at on some other time frames. Looks like the 5 minute I can go up to 180 days. I think I'm maxed out now. But it looks like the 3 minute and the 1 minute I can only get 30 days back. So anyway, that's there's other things like TradingView you can look at. I think much further back, actually a couple months back, if I recall, I was looking at that on a 1 minute, on a 3 minute, things like that. But anyway, we just went up today. And so you just really just had to be buying, looking for an opportunity to buy. It just seems like it's been really foolish to do any sort of shorting anywhere in this market. Even if you see, okay, yeah, there's like a double top forming. This is a lower high, and the RSI is probably, I don't know, it's probably really overbought here, so it should revert, right? The market should do what I want. It's just not the right attitude. So anyway, if we jump over here, this is the 66.75 call that expired today, the 66.75 put that expired today. And I mean, it's really just hard to have all of it really cleanly on the screen. So, you know, let's kind of focus in on this earlier S curve shape. So obviously on its way up, and you got about this kind of hour or so of time where it's going just sideways. And the puts get a little bit of value. Obviously, there's some incentive for the put buyers, to get in, and people think it's going to push lower. This is it. This is the all-time high, and hey, maybe this will be a huge upper wicks, and you tell stories about that day. You sold the high, and then it just continued to roll back up. And during that time, the call here, this actually lost a lot of value. It was up at a high of 9.4, came all the way down to 4.5. So it was cut in more than half from the value up here. That's a distinct S curve on the call here. And really nice pullback into some moving averages here. Just continued on up. We actually did not really have much of a rally into the close. It just really went sideways. But I mean, it had done so much rallying, even probably, what was that 6 hours and 20 minutes or no, six. Let's see, the market's open for 6.5. So what time was this? This was All right, right before or right after 2 o'clock. So this would have been about 5.5 hours into the market is when it just really went sideways. The last hour, or the last 45 to 50 minutes, something like that. It's just a lot of buying throughout the day. I have no idea if it's going to stop anytime soon. We had three candles in a row here. We had three candles in a row here. If we gap up and do some selling back down, great. That might be another rest, but or a little pullback, like little. Um, but what I've been mainly focused on is looking for an inexpensive option, looking for something that's not too far out of the money, but within range that it could get there during the day. This is one that you could have been out further. So if we jump over to the 6700, I typed something in wrong. 6700 call. Uh, I'm guessing some people were looking for it to hit that and then get going, or yeah, it's going to get there. And there were plenty of opportunities to buy that. It just didn't really move very much. You still could have bought. Let's see what some of these values were. Could have bought at zero point 0.5, pretty much anywhere. If you bought at zero point 0.5 anywhere in here, well, not there because that's kind of right at the high. So you're going to wait for a pullback and pull back to like zero point 0.2, 0.25, and then it ran up. Actually moved pretty good from like probably zero point 0.5 up to 1.5. That's a pretty good move. Take that. Um, and then yeah, I'm usually looking for a dollar, but this one you could have gotten multiple for a fraction of a dollar. Um, and it really took all day to get near that price and then didn't actually get there. So let's come back a little bit to like 66.90. Okay, so the 66.90, that one moved really nicely. So during this S curve, it came down to about zero point 0.5. What's the low here? 0.55, 0.52. Oh, that would have been mean. That would have been really mean if you're looking for zero point 0.5 and the low was only 0.25. And then it ran up without, yeah, yeah, that's one of those FOMO trades if you had gotten into that. So let's go a little closer. Let's go to 66.85. uh okay, so what's the low on this S curve? See, now that's tricky too because that didn't get back down to one. That got to 1.05. That's mean. So if I'm looking for a dollar, I've got the order set up, that's one that I would have missed by 5 cents had I had it set up at that time. I wasn't trying to do that, but that's mean when the market makers do something like that. So it's like the other one you'd be missing the zero point 0.5, this one you'd be missing the one, and then it just runs. So that can be tough. It's when that happens, it's like, do you have a rule for that? Can you just kind of move the entry a little bit? How far can you move it? What are the conditions that have to be just right for that to work? Or do you abandon the absolute zero? Do you get into something when you're anticipating? Like, how do you know that's the S curve? Because this could have just kept going sideways. This could have pulled back into the purple line. So it's really good to, have that idea of what you're looking for and then just match that up and just stick to that and make that your niche for what you're looking for and just trade that. And other stuff, you're just going to have to be like, okay, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss out on missing it, but I'm going to miss the trade. And yeah, definitely there was quite a bit of, man, I missed that today with how strong this was. So we can learn from it. We can study this. Like, look at all these bull candles in a row, and then it didn't sell off. Even like if I threw a fib on this, it barely pulled back. So that just shows it's really strong. And that's what I was saying for the daily. Like, I have no idea how much more this is going to keep going. If we end up pushing over the next few, I don't know, weeks or something, days, who knows, weeks into this level, like if we get anywhere near, gosh, this would be pushing 7,000 if we got up in there. I don't know. I mean, it should do that, but I just was not expecting anything like that anytime soon. Let me zoom back way out. Like, just look how much this is going up. I've got some other charts mapping that out, but um, gosh, when it gets above this lower half here, it had done this back here. It didn't really keep pushing up high, but it was generally up, and then this first one did end up pulling back a bit. I didn't expect to be looking at this at all today. What if I duplicate that drawing? Is there something I can line it up with over here? I don't really want to line it up down that. Um, I've not lined this up at all. Let's zoom in and see what's going on. If I take that same angle, oops, no, let's click it. If I take that angle, am I following something? I'm not even seeing any sort of trend. So this one's close because there's a low here and it kind of crosses through the lows, but then it chops right through this and then through that low again. I really don't like that. I'm gonna have to keep looking. I've got some other charts, other things drawn on other charts, like in Trading View. I'm gonna have to see if I can find something that lines up cleaner with something else that's happened further back in the past or somewhere in this major uptrend because I'm just not seeing anything else that's going to give us any more of an indication of where could this hit other than throwing a fib on it. Actually, let me check my other charts where I've got some fibs drawn. I'm doing this on another screen. Hang on. Does any of this make sense? No, we're in like an open area that we could definitely keep on running. We're we kind of hesitated the last couple of days. You know what? Let me just pull this over. Uh, if I do that, I think I've shared this at another point. So this should make some sense. So this chart is an SPY plus 0.01 and mapped out on here some of the pullback from this high, hesitate, and trap, and then we sold off. And I had some fib ranges on here from this initial sell off in this range of this channel. And we're back up into that range now. We got into that a little bit sooner than the one I've got in Thinkorswim. But we were nicely managing with these different levels in here, pulling way down to multiples. Let's see, where do we end up? We got down to about 4.5 on the multiple on the fib going down. And so I did that one, and then we were hitting that on the way back up. And then it's like, okay, well, what if I take that same kind of range and so don't look at where these are sitting, these dots are sitting. This is meant to line up with the low here. This one's meant to line up with the high, I think, on this candle here. And so I was taking basically that measured move up, seeing, okay, where could we pull back? And we held that one nicely. We came into this one again and held that. So we pulled back and held the 50%, held the 618, and then we got back right up into here. And I thought, okay, there's the trap. It should go. Nope. Or no, this was the trap, and that's where we only pulled back to the 6 and 8, and then we just kept on running and putting a new high, and now we're up into the extensions again. So we hesitated in this range between the 382 and the 618. We really kind of rested in here for a couple days, starting to move up. Inside day from so Thursday and then to Friday was Friday was an inside day to Thursday's move with upper and lower wicks on both, and then today we broke out. So this was enough of a rest. This was enough of a rest prior to it. It looks like where I've got this lower wick hitting that black channel, that would be the better one. So the blue and the black channels are just slightly off from one another. Going back to some stuff, way, 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 way back. And then I've got some other angles. So like the blue angle is the same one over here, but then it's like, well, the black one seemed to fit a little better, so I just made a different color. So that, I'm looking at way up here. It's like, okay, the blue or the black? The blue, are we following the same angle up as that other one? Yeah, there's an argument for it. The black one, then it's like, okay, there's a really clear touch right at the bottom here. It kind of cuts through some of this, cuts through these a little bit more, kind of holds that candle nicely. I'm looking for it in general. It's like, is that a good line to trade off of or to kind of be following? Is it holding something, supporting something? Now I'm just trying to make sense of what are these fibs doing? But back to kind of why I brought it over here to go up into this would be 700 the way that this is drawn, and then 7,000 back over on SPX, which I don't have all the same stuff drawn on there. And then the 0.01 is only just to have something set up different on a different chart that I can just go back to easily, rather than having multiple brokers, multiple saved charts, and all of that. So it's like, hey, just use a ticker that's basically the same thing. I've only literally added a penny to this one. I'm not going to look for something to be down to the penny exactly. But do beware if you're in the money on something you thought you were out of the money, because a penny does matter. That's when it actually does matter. And so this would be, if we're going to get into 700, that would be up here right at the 3 times extension. of where I have this initial move right here. And that wasn't even the initial. I mean, there's so many other moves further down here. That was just one that I'm like, hey, that looks like it's got some levels coming off it. A pullback for this. And then when it didn't pull back anymore, didn't break down and roll over, then it's like, okay, where are those extensions? So this is what I was saying when I didn't have it on the screen. We were really in a no man's land. Like this range here, we could come down to 662.83. We could run up to 673.10. We can go either way. We're basically almost right in the middle. We keep rallying up. We could pull back a little bit, and either one would be totally fine. The market can do whatever one. It can go up, it can go down, it can go up a little, it can go down a little, and go sideways. All I'm doing is putting a fib to it and say, hey, where is it possible that it could interact with another level? And seeing that we really just broke out of the 618. We did a little bit on Friday, but then it was really really kind of managing in here on an inside day, high to low inside day, not necessarily the body. And then today is the bigger day for it to break out. And we actually looks like we gapped down a little bit in today's open. So for SPY. With SPX, let's see. Yeah, we did still gap down a little bit, and then on SPX we actually made a higher high and higher low compared on Friday compared to Thursday. So this looks stronger that we've got some higher lows and higher highs actually ever since this candle, higher lows and higher highs. And so this one looks like it didn't really rest as much. It rested for these 3 days, but these have been moves up or upper and lower wicks, which is somewhat of an intraday rest, but not as strong of a daily rest. So last time it's been like 3 days through here. Really, this was 2 days ahead of a Fed announcement. So that's what was actually going on. But we need to kind of just ignore those things when it's the markets and just read the chart. So if you didn't know what was happening that day, okay, well, can you still trade it? Yeah, sure, that makes sense. You can just trade it. So let's see if tomorrow we get some more move up, and at some point there should be a pullback. But I don't want to be the one sitting on the sidelines predicting it or getting run over, predicting, oh, this is the top, and let's go bearish, and then getting run over. I'd rather participate in the bullish move, however slow or quick it is. So look for those S curves, look for multiple candles in a row of some bearishness, some selling, and then we'll see if there's an opportunity to get in and just let the market move how it is going to move and just go along for the ride. So hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.